seen a lot of college football teams kind of, be unable to recover after some tough losses. I mean, just you look at Penn State, for example. I mean, after that Oregon loss, kind of went. They kind of failed to regroup a little bit. I mean, what will be the message in the locker room this week to not let this loss, beat you twice?
Yeah, I mean, I think what is the message in the locker room is the key point there. Like, what is the direction of where the team should go? And I think we've always been process driven here. I think we've always been, really focused on what the response is going to be rather than the event. I mean, obviously Saturday's event's has a little more magnitude than maybe some of the other games or some of the other instances that may show up in a player's lap through the course of a football game. But at the end of the day, like 6 days, 7 days later, you're going to have an opportunity to go play again in college football. So you have to flush that. You have to get that out of your system, and you have to, get back on the practice field and get fixed what you see on tape. And I think, obviously there's so many things that you can go back after every game and go point to. After wins, I don't sit up here after wins and or in front of team meetings and brag about how good we are. So to put on the sad face and pout after you lose, like, I don't think that does any good either. So you stick to your process, you stick to what that looks like, and preparation is never lost. I mean, we had a good week of practice last week. We had guys prepared really hard, and for a game that they put a lot of time and energy into. Does it suck we didn't win a game? 100%. But at the end of the day, like, we've got another challenge ahead. We've got to continue on the growth process of what that looks like as our team. It continues to, hopefully improve down the stretch here.
What do you hope to see from, your team leaders this week, especially?
Yeah, I think I just kind of hit it. Like, you want to see a great response, and your response can't be an emotional decision to start the football game on Saturday. The response is it's a good progression throughout the course of the week. Getting back in here on Sunday. We practice on Sundays here. We take today off, and I thought we did a really good job of trying to do the best we can to flush that out of our system and get on the field. And I do credit our veteran guys, because I think the rest of the team is going to follow what they do if your culture is really, really good. Tough pill to swallow Saturday. I get it, but credit those guys for getting back in here yesterday and with the workmanship, like approach, and put your head down and go.
How much confidence do you have that this group will be able to rebound in the way that you hope they will?
A lot of confidence.
And then lastly, you're facing a Kent State team that put up 42 points last week. I mean, obviously against UMass, who's struggling a bit, but when a team is coming into this game with that much confidence, what changes in your preparation?
Nothing changes in your preparation. You're right, though. I mean, there is a lot of confidence. You can see just by the effort that they play with on tape. It's a different team than maybe the last couple of years. Their staff has done a good job of circling the wagons and really playing for one another, and I think that shows up in all three phases. The quarterback is playing consistent. He's good enough to beat you with his legs, and he's an accurate thrower. They play a bunch of guys on defense, and you play a bunch of guys on defense for a couple different reasons. Either you feel really confident in a lot of them, which I think they do, and they're able to be multiple in what they do, so they provide a bunch of challenges that way. They're going to be very aggressive on how they call the game. And they really got after UMass Saturday, and just by challenging the receivers at the line of scrimmage and the offensive line when it came to pass protection and how they block up the run scheme stuff. So this can be a good game. It's gonna be a fight.
Jason, there's so much good about this program. As the game kind of got away Saturday, is there a case for maybe a better role for you to be kind of 20,000 feet as a CEO? Like, could you envision yourself eventually handing over play calling to just kind of take over a CEO role rather than just kind of being buried in how do we fix this on offense?
Well, I think during the season, you go from week to week, from game to game. You focus on what you're supposed to focus on and what you have to focus on, and that's getting better this week to try to play this game and try to put the best plan together to allow your team to go play and play the best here this week. And then things that are 20,000 feet or whatever you said, or down the road, you address them from 20,000 feet or down the road.
We always talk about culture here at Toledo. You obviously had the big bounce back win after Western's loss. The response you talked about and the parity in college football, the MAC is wide open. Even with 2 losses in the MAC, you guys still can get there. What does that kind of propel you guys forward? I mean, obviously you look at one game at a time, but how does that propel you guys forward?
Well, you hit it. I mean, you have to prepare one game at a time. At some point in time, we got to figure out how to win a game on the road. I looked at our conference statistics today. I mean, our league is 5-37 on the road as a conference. I mean, that's alarming. So it's not easy to do. It's not easy to go on the road and win. I mean, some team has got to figure it out. If you want to play late in the season and you want to have a chance to go to a championship game, you got to figure that part of it out. We haven't figured it out yet. We're 0-3. But that's down the road. I mean, we got to figure out handle what has to be handled this week and get that right. And like I said, get the week off to a great start, which I thought we did yesterday, and then ultimately tomorrow, get on that practice field and prepare for Kent.
Anything else for Coach? All done? All right.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Take care.